You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck. We've made difficult decisions.
And there are still more ahead of us.
2 people aren't enough to save the galaxy.
We need the toughest,
Smartest.
deadliest allies.
We need you.
We need you to join us.
And listen to Reignite.
A certain point of view podcast about storytelling
Love.
and Mass Effect.
Join us every other Thursday as we fight for the fate of an entire galaxy.
You can find us everywhere you get your podcasts.
Or at certainpov.com/reignite.
We're counting on you.
We should go.
Welcome, listeners. Welcome, JV Pickers. Host Sway here, back with Working Together to bring you a playlist worth getting lost to by our collective brain trust. And this week's theme is Gone Too Soon. So grab your quarters, pick your dibs. Geek Elite Media presents Jukebox Vertigo. We actually have a light table this week. Due to some technical difficulties, our guest wasn't able to be here, but hopefully they can return for another time. So around the table, we have Daniel.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. Honestly can't wait what you end up picking up for this category. And of course, as always, we're gonna have ourselves some Keith.
Yo, I had a bad week, guys. Someone broke into my car.
Dude, that's so shitty. Dude.
They left the door open, so the battery died.
Oh.
And so I had to get a new battery, and my AC in my car went out, and I took it today, and the guy said, oh, the entire AC needs to be replaced. That'll be $2,000.
Oh, shit.
So I'm getting a new car.
Well, I guess
I don't blame you, dude.
Since we're all dropping dumb money right now, I also hit a fender bender, and it was a gnarly dent and a scratch. And if the insurance doesn't go through, it could also just be around, maybe around that much. So this
Are you at fault?
Too. Huh?
Are you at fault?
Oh yeah, it was so stupid. It was so dumb. Like if my foot got caught under the pedal, so I couldn't brake, and it was like, ugh. It was. Yeah, it was so fucking dumb. I'm still so pissed at myself for that. So hopefully, fingers crossed with the insurance.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're talking about. We're going here to talk about music. So let's unwind with what we actually listen to. I actually don't have a laundry list of stuff that actually came because the last 2 weeks actually were really light with the releases. So I did go circle back around to, of course, with the Willow album. Lately, I've been feeling everything. Hierarchy for the Sky with Mar. Still, such perfect fucking albums ever since February. I also went back I'm not bummed out or anything, but I really like bummer tracks, mm-hmm. and I shared it with the chat a while back ago. And John Redcorn by Sir is just so good. The video does a great homage to obviously King of the Hill, but man, is the song just so sad and just like this guy's just alone, but it's just like. He knows that if he just reached out, he could probably get her back, or vice versa, but pride and all that bullshit, so they don't. So it's kind of like, but he knows it's also what he wants. It's like for them to be together. It's like, but no, every night alone. I'm not going to start singing it, but it's a great fucking song. Again, I watch it with the video, especially if you like King of the Hill. It's like, you see all the characters on the homages. It's fun. Except for the weird sci-fi twist where it's almost like, a little bit like Atlanta, like all the cars are like floating cars. It's like the cover cars. And that's the only thing that's weird about it. But other than that, it's a King of the Hill like weird off episode. Is that? Oh, that's right. And Keith, we happen to know that I finally listened to those Lord singles.
Thank you. What'd you think of them? Because I either think you would really like it or really hate it. And so I was very curious.
Oh, I know. I dug them, especially. I mean, it's just like easy, casual listening to. So, but I definitely I'll definitely listen to something that has a fun song title, like "Stoned at the Nail Salon" or "The Salon."
I thought of you when I listened to it this week.
It's so fun. Like, absolutely, I'm gonna be into that. And a Solar Power, and yeah, just like 2 back-to-back singles like that. Like, it made me curious and excited for a potential album if they're just kind of like the process how it goes. So
yeah, I really was curious about Solar Power because specifically how I kind of mentioned it when I reviewed it. The song builds to the end, not to the chorus, which I really thought was really cool because it's basically whisper singing for 2/3 of the song, and then we're just going to sing this over and over and over. Which I love the way her voice sounded at the end, like when she's singing Solar Power. So
I kept coming back to my head, like what you mentioning that, but I couldn't tell which song it was, and I was like, oh, of course, it was like after you're done with the first one, it's like the next one is like with Solar Power. It's like, oh no, I'm stoked for it. Yeah. Now for the new stuff that I did listen to, let's see, go with the singles because I didn't actually make my proper list, but Cradle of Filth had Crawling King Chaos. It was actually a decent single. Like, usually Cradle of Filth will have like hit or miss tracks and will make for more of a fun album, but the song was like everybody just got down, like even like the drums tend to get lost with like just a bunch of like high notes and a bunch of like fast guitars, and then also Danny Filth like doing his wide range of vocals. But this song was actually good, and it goes on for over 5 minutes long, so it makes for a decent song. Other metal singles was Ginger with Mediator. So that's her second single. I'm an idiot and I didn't write down the name of the last single to go with. Oh, it's Vortex, right? I think it was Vortex. But it was good. I'm kind of like, I wasn't expecting so many clear vocals with like, she's just amazing at just like at doing like the screams. But when it's there, they fucking get down. But then who did really, really get down and got me so fucking excited? I literally shrieked in the car when I guess I hit on YouTube like at a good spot where it was just like barely added to YouTube Music, and Dying Wish, who I have really still been jamming to. Oh God, I forgot. I'm dropping the name of the last single as well. Fragments of a Bitter Memory. And now they dropped with Until Morning Comes. Morning with the U, so just to make it a little more darker. But damn, so Fragments of a Bitter Memory is a great single where it just feels really personal for such a heavy song. This is like and then for the second single to just make it so fun and just like now you definitely get to hear the whole band be incorporated like into the song. Not that like that they were like lacking in the other single. Like that's what made the song super fucking heavy. But for some reason, like the lyrics are just like so much more like prominent in that other single where you just get to hear her story. And this one just makes for more of an actual like song, and you just like everybody's just so on fucking top of it, and it just made me so much more excited for October. I think it's October 6th, for when the actual whole album comes out. Fucking local legends, like up and coming local legends, like fucking love Dying Wish, and she's just like, such a badass. Emma's just such a badass. Yeah. I guess I did plan it out without even realizing it. Last single is Lisa, anime opening track Lisa with Hadashi no Step. It's Lisa and another anime type song. I can't wait to hear, and I can't wait to see what anime this song is in, because it's just one of those where you can just already see the anime. And yes, coming up to my albums, Brittany Howard's with her Jamie Reimagined, this re-release of her debut album, but now as a reimagined workings like of how she wanted for them to sound now in this way. And it's cool because she actually handpicked the people who were involved in this for this project, which is why like I really fucking love Childish Gambino's Stay High version of Stay High, because he just made it sound like one of his tracks instead of just trying to like rework something of hers. And that's literally what he did, but not necessarily keeping it to her style. It was just like such a great project. I actually really like going through all the songs. Keith, you went through it, right?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I actually worked out to this album the past few weeks.
No shit, no, that's fucking good. That's actually a good one too to do that too.
I dig it. Obviously, the Gambino song's great. I actually really like the Bon Iver song, Short and Sweet.
Okay, yeah.
And I dug the Tomorrow with Bad Bad Not Good. So yeah, I really dug those songs. It was a really interesting album. It sounds the same but different. Like it's just really good reimagining is a good word. Like, not a
for-
remix,
yeah.
Not
It's not a remix, it's
redo.
reimagined of it. Yeah, even Baby was really good. Yeah, I remember you highlighted Baby,
Baby was great.
and then when I got
forgot
to it, I
about
was
Baby.
like, this one definitely stood out. The whole thing was actually really good.
Yeah, definitely. Baby is probably my favorite track. I forgot about Baby, yeah.
Nice. Then, fucking yeah, we call them Punk Legends, The Descendants with Ninth and Walnut. This is actually a really fun album. I mean, as far as like for the Descendants go, it's one of those like, yeah, if you listen to Descendants once, you probably listen to all the other songs. But if you want new songs from them, it's definitely one worth checking out. There was just one song that was just like, I need to find it because it was one of those like, all right, guys, it's time to grow up. Maybe don't write songs like these anymore. Kind of like why I was kind of didn't really dig the Offspring song album that came out this year, or why I sometimes do like to call out Weezer for that specific reason. And I can't fucking.
How dare you?
I mean, sometimes maybe the Rivers can like you should write a different style of songs or grow up a little bit.
Then we'd all be upset. You'd be like, why aren't you writing the old songs?
No, honestly, I wouldn't because we've had a catalog of it. Okay, I have the album here, and it's Tired of Being Tired, Cranky, Grudge. What is it? No.
But I understand what you're saying.
These also.
I think a better example like Grow Up is more like Sum 41. Like I love Sum 41, but that kind of, especially that era of rock, it's just kind of like, this was cool when you guys were 25.
Oh no, for sure. I totally hear you.
Yeah. So.
I'm definitely gonna give this album another listen to, but it's really only the one song that stuck out because like when you start singing, it's like it's like these lyrics where it's like it takes me back to being at the skate park, but it's because I purposely put it there because I'm at that age to listen to those songs. It's really like, it's really kind of like one of those where it's like it's about the girl and she's literally all that, but it's kind of like it just sounds really dated the way it's all being like singing about her. It's like I don't know, whatever. But still the whole thing except for that one song is really enjoyable. And now my favorite album that I listened to, it's a rap album. It's by Isaiah Rashad with The House is Burning.
Ooh,
this was really fucking good. Like we were talking about we were talking about last week how last episode about the Vince Staples album being like, well, Vince Staples likes to pop off, but likes to keep it really mellow when he likes to. And that whole last album was more on the mellow side. This is kind of like that if he had cranked it up by like a notch and a half. So you still get more of the aggro side, but you still get some like decent, like good samples or like mellow samples in and around it. But then there's some hard songs into it too. I definitely recommend this one a lot. Isaiah Rashad with The House is Burning was one I definitely kept going back and back to. It's actually my list of new stuff I listened to. So Daniel, what has been on your rotation?
So on my rotation, let's see. My rotation, going to a show, like I mentioned earlier, on Saturdays. So listen to Lane 8, a 2-hour set today, actually, while I was working. Really chill. If anybody knows Rufus the Soul, he has the exact same vibe as they do. So it's a lot of your deep house and like heavy instrumentals, which was awesome. Because of the passing of, Joey Jordison, been listening to a lot of Slipknot, R.I.P., also been listening to a lot of Ghost since I brought up Ghost last time we talked. Been listening to a lot of like random 80s pop and 90s, just sticking to grunge, basically. Another thing I've been listening to. And then listened to some Korn, also listened to some early Linkin Park as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's dope. And Keith, what have you been listening to since the last episode?
I'll go through the things I usually listen to that I listened to this week. The Killers, I went back to the recent album.
Okay.
Still really good.
It is.
Still holds up for me. So, I went on a Mos Def kick. So I listened to Black on Both Sides, which is probably my favorite rap album of all time. It's just perfect. Also listened to Black Star, which is him with Talib Kweli. This was inspired because they have a podcast now with Dave Chappelle that is so good.
Yeah.
It's literally, because I kind of told Josue a little bit about it, but basically it's like if the podcast took place in a black barber shop.
Okay.
And it's just them talking about stuff, and then there'll be like little hip hop beats in the background, or they'll cut away to like a sample of a song and stuff like that. It's really, unique and artistic, and I love it. And the first episode, it is a subscription show, but the first episode is free. I recommend you check it out. They talk about an artist I'm probably going to be talking about a little bit later. So it's really, really good. Also, Black Keys. I went back to Brothers, which is also one of my favorite albums of all time. Weezer. I also went back to Lord. A lot of what I listened to this week is related to the category, too. So I'm kind of dodging stuff. The Brittany Howard album that we just talked about, that was pretty good. I went back to the Ellie Goulding album from last year, and I still really like this album, and part of me is like, I feel so bad for her that she put that out in 2020, because it was so good, but because Dua Lipa put out an incredible album, and Taylor Swift put out 2 nearly perfect albums, it's not even in my top 3 favorite pop albums of the year, but it should be. Any other year it would be.
Yeah.
So it really sucks that she, bad timing, I guess.
Really quickly, since you brought up T Swift, did you happen to watch the teas on Twitter or whatever it was that made her blow up today?
Yes. So how she's doing Taylor's versions of all her albums. So they don't have she's teasing guests for her version or for her remake of Red.
Really?
Oh, okay.
And she put a puzzle out, and people are figuring out names on the puzzle. And of course, I completely forgot all of them off the top of my head.
Kanye West is going to be on there? Just kidding.
No, not at all. But I'm pretty Red isn't my favorite album. It's actually one of the ones I don't like as much as the others. But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's pretty good. Like, it's just not. There's some great songs on it, and there's some really garbage songs on it, is the thing. So I have very complicated feelings about it. So yeah,
of course you do.
Yeah. But let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can find. Oh yeah, Ed Sheeran's going to be one. Chris Stapleton, which anyone who listened to our country episode knows, I fucking love me some Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, I was like, that rings a bell.
And also Phoebe Bridgers. So those are all going to be guest stars in our album. So pretty exciting. I'm pretty stoked about that. So that's pretty much what I listened to that was from previous weeks. New stuff. We mentioned Brittany Howard, really great. There's a new single from Silk Sonic, the group from Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, called Skate.
It's amazing.
Cannot wait for this album. This album's going to be the sexiest fucking album. I'm so excited. Like, this is sex music. I absolutely adore it. It's going to be great. But my big listen for the week, and I'm kind of surprised no one else mentioned it, the new Billie Eilish album.
Oh, yeah.
Did anyone listen to it?
No.
Okay, so I like it as much as the first album.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be as memorable.
Ooh, okay.
She goes pretty experimental on it. It's almost like a hip-hop album, not in style, but in structure, in that it feels like, okay, here's the song, and then almost like here's a skit or a cutaway. You know what I mean? Like, she does that a bit. There's a song on there called Billy Bossa Nova, where it's literally a Bossa Nova song. Like Costa del Sol from Final Fantasy VII with Billie Eilish singing over it.
Is that Bossa Nova beat?
It's great, dude. And then like the song she sang, I think it was at the MTV Music Awards, where she was like taking like her top off and stuff like that, because it was about her body and how people, before it was revealed, her body. She sang that song about that. That's actually on this album, and that's really cool because I really like that song. So I'm glad it's actually on an album. I like the album personally. It's not going to hit society the same way, and I think Billie did that intentionally. Because if you follow Billie Eilish, the last thing she wants to do is succeed massively with this album, because she's so sick of all the publicity and press and everything. She really just wanted to put out something she wanted to do. So, and it is with her and her brother again. They made it together.
And I was going to say, it's probably because, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure she would like her brother to get some attention too. He's the one that kind of makes the music.
Yeah. And then, like, I mean, the last track she had, the single, the Everything You Ever Wanted song, was literally about how she's already succeeded more than she ever expected to, and she doesn't really want to succeed more. So she's basically telling us, like, this one's for me, basically.
Oh, no shit,
so,
nice.
But I dug it. It's a really great listen to put in the background. the other thing I want to mention isn't a new release, but it's a new discovery for me. I discovered a band called Jazz Party, all in caps, all one word, and it's like Norah Jones if she had a full-on backing band, which I know she has a band, but it's like there's 9 people in this band.
Yeah.
And imagine it kind of like a grittier postmodern jukebox, but not covers, but that style, you know what I mean? And it's just really cool. And the band is made up of dudes who are clearly into like rock and punk and stuff like that, but they're playing this style. They're really cool. And the girl's voice, she does have a Norah Jones quality to her, but she also has something unique too that I really enjoyed. So that just came up. I actually Shazammed them when it came on. So, but yeah, Jazz Party, all in caps. They're from Australia, and I'm really digging it. It's really great chill music. So that's it for me.
Nice. The thing I was saying, I'm a bad fan, and apparently you are too. Just calling you out. Did you listen to the DG's Foo Fighters thing?
No, I forgot.
Yeah. Honestly,
I heard the single before it came out.
Oh, okay.
And it is very much disco.
It's very much disco. Honestly, it's just the first. I guess might have been like a live set. I threw on a few of the songs, went back and forth between the DG set and the Foo Fighter sets because it's almost like a split album. Mm-hmm. And the Foo Fighter songs are just literally songs from this last album. I think maybe live. And the first half is those disco renditions of them just having fun. Mm. So we didn't really miss much because for the second half, really not really. But I do plan on actually listening to that first half, or at least the DGs.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's move on and add our page. And this one is a heavy one. Mostly because this was a heavy fucking week, especially for a lot of us wee metal bands.
Yeah.
This week's theme is Gone Too Soon, and this week we lost a fucking legend of mine, ours, everybody who's ever been a fan of Slipknot and Murder Dolls, other side projects involved. Joey Jordison. Joey Jordison at 46 just died this weekend. It was just brutal.
Yeah.
Back in my high school days, getting super angsty, being a fucking little edgelord, and just having that teen angst and being fuck you mom and dad, especially fuck you dad, but with my mom sometimes, and just want to ostracize myself, and yeah, I had music, I had all kinds of music that I was discovering, but it was really Slipknot back then, just because there were fucking 9 members. They were literally their own unit, their own family, that I kind of considered them as my musical family, just because I would tend to want to relate with them so bad, or just because they were just the coolest fucking thing to me. So back in 2011, when Paul Gray died, that one hit me so fucking hard, because then even back further in 2007, 8, me and another really good friend of mine, his name is also Daniel, we dressed as Slipknot. We literally went to the fucking Halloween shop or one of those online stores or band shops to get the Subliminal Verses shirt with the black button-up shirt that they were rocking at the time with the black pants and the mask. I fucking had Paul Gray's mask, so when he died, I wore that shit all day long and just blasted the discography the whole day. And my friend Daniel was fucking, because he was the drummer for our band. Yeah, and so and he was Joey Jordan. My friend was Joey Jordison for the Halloween, so it just came back as a full circle moment. But then just as a very fucking sad one, just thinking back on how much this band meant to not just me but all of us as in my friends circle. And fuck, and then what was it? 2016. He came down with something in his body just got messed up, and it was just really fucked up that the band thought he was gonna fall into drugs, which is why he was kind of being slowed down. But it really wasn't that. It was just him struggling through a fucking procedure, and Slipknot literally kicked him out, and it was really fucking shitty from them, and so they literally had to replace him after that. And so it sucks that I never got to see at least my 7 out of 9 lineup, and I'll forever be the 7 out of 9 lineup. Even then, Craig isn't even that much involved anymore, so it's kind of fuck, that band was just it just has always meant so fucking much.
Yeah. There's only one original member left.
Clown is the original
Clown?
Clown's the only one left. Corey wasn't the original singer.
No, he wasn't.
So, yeah. Clown's the only one left from the original lineup.
Damn.
Yeah. And it fucking hurts.
And there were fucking 9 of them.
So I had to like I rambled on that one, but it's like, Daniel, like what do you think of like this week? It was I really said I was also why it was such a light load on my recommendations, because this time it was one of those flipped weeks where I really got down on like what song I was going to choose for my category picks, and Slipknot being for sure one of them. Shit, it was just anyway. Daniel, take it over.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's this week, just like I told you guys before pre-recording, listening to a lot of Slipknot, and even in the recording in the beginning, and that's something I really did this week a lot, is just going through all the older stuff just to pay my tribute to it. But to kick things off, I'm going to go with Chris Cornell, big Audioslave fan, and then Soundgarden as well. Love his version of Patience. It's amazing. It's beautiful. The man has so much vocal range, but definitely just a lot of the bullshit I've been going through. I'm gonna have to go with Like a Stone for my first pick.
Oh, we haven't started yet. We're still just like
Oh shit!
Okay, good. I was just frantically typing to Jose, like, oh shit, did we start? I missed your pick.
No, we started. I'm so sorry.
No. We're just going around the circle on like how I feel, because it just sucks. It's like music is such an important part to a lot of people's lives. It's just something so trivial as just like noise and sounds, but it means something. So when some stranger out there in our world can like literally speak in a different way that just resonates to your core, and then they're just gone, like it just fucking sucks. Like, it's literally a stranger. You don't know this person, but for some reason, this person got to know you and just put out this body of work, and just like for whatever, and for one reason or another, it's like it just sucks when they're just gone.
Yeah,
like, Keith, what do you think about like losing artists like this?
I think the main thing here I took away was gone too soon.
Yeah,
I really focused on the too soon and really thought about like people that had so much more to give.
Yeah, for sure,
and,
definitely.
One of my artists is actually the hardest loss of a creative person I've had. The most upset I've ever gotten about the death of somebody that is famous. So, right. I'll let you know when that comes up. But yeah, I just think like I think about how transformative these artists were and could have been.
Yeah,
and how the music industry could have changed.
Yeah,
had they stuck around. Or culture in general. You know what I mean? So I have some pretty heavy names to drop on you, and some of them people probably won't think of, but if you really think about what their potential was, that's the thing. So and that's the sad part here is we're not talking about George Harrison dying. You know what I mean? Like, George Harrison was old. I love George Harrison. He's my favorite Beatle.
Thank you.
But he was old. He contributed plenty. This is too soon, so that's why I wanted to focus on that. So, but and I was actually a Slipknot fan in high school, pretty big Slipknot fan. It's just crazy to think about. Like, first of all, that Slipknot's still a thing in 2021. Like, that's crazy to me, because that seemed like something that'd be gone in 3 years, and it's still here. Like, all those other bands are gone. Mudvayne's gone. Head PE is gone. like that shit's over with. Soulfly and Sepultura, we love them, but they're not what they were at all. And Slipknot's still there, holding on. And it sucks because Joey was one of the standouts of that band.
For sure. I mean, I guess
probably the number 2 standout. Like, how often is you have a 9-person band? Obviously, Corey's the one that gets a lot of the attention because he's the lead singer, and also he's the most personality of all of them. But Joey's number 2. And then Clown with his antics, and then what? At that point, it's like arguably Mick, because he was like the big broody guitarist, the scary looking one.
The scary looking one. And after that, and then they would be Sid, because he's literally jumping off the fucking stage and off the rails and doing other shit. And all of that, it teeters after that. But Joey was definitely out there. He was definitely the more prominent one. But anyway, sorry, just took over.
No, so that's this. I mean, as I've not been a Slipknot fan for a while. Like, I mean, I still like what I like, but I don't actively seek out their music anymore. And I know my hot take that you guys did not like was that I think I like Stone Sour more than Slipknot.
I do too, man. I'll be completely honest. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's just more emotional. But yeah, no, that is a definite big loss. I know he wasn't even really a part of the band anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not like it affects the band immediately, but that's their friend. That's a guy they've been playing with forever, and yeah, it sucks. Like it just fucking sucks.
It just sucks the way he went out because they literally fired him through an email, and like who does that?
As a founding member, like literally like, the drummer, like it was sad. It was just very sad in that way in particular, just being like how he was treated in that way, and then it was just like, well, now you guys can't fucking take that one back. And now I'm pretty sure your next album is going to be in Dedication 2, just like the 5th one. And look how that one turned out. That one's not one of my favorite albums, like by far, just because it just felt too try hard when it probably should have done it sooner. And even then, it's probably going to be. Anyway, this whole topic is about all the silvering artists.
We had this conversation with Crozen once. It went like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm only going to go much further because, I know we're talking about too soon. My other ones are going to be very, like, ones that are too soon. But my first pick, just because it just literally broke my fucking heart. I couldn't believe that, like, even still, like, he was 46, he was well accomplished on, like, having his catalog of music. It's just more, like, selfishly, like, I never got to see my Slipknot band, like, my lineup, even though, like, losing Paul was just, like, literally, like, even then, I didn't want to see Slipknot anymore, because, like, Paul was, like, my fucking guy, knowing from, like, Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, and knowing the trivia that Paul was the only one that actually liked Confessions from that EP, which is literally my favorite song from that EP because it's just so goofy and so different and anything but Slipknot. That's why I like it, and that's literally the only song that he really liked from it, or the only band member that liked that song. So yeah, that one would fucking hurt. And now it's just Joey, Joey the fucking drummer, Joey the inspiration from like I'd call it like what my first favorite drummer. My song. I'm just gonna call it my song right now. It's Purity. It's Purity, but specifically the live version from the Disaster Pieces set, and you can find this one on the special edition of the Iowa CD. It's like instead of like the white and blue album, it's more like the colored version. You can see like the goat more, and you can scroll at the bottom, and it's like the whole London set. And I had the DVD to this set, and I would say that I played this disc to the fucking ground. But this was one of those like precious treasures to me that I had like the protective skin around the disc so it would never scratch. So I could have it forever. It got to a point where I had to like stop myself from watching this like so many times because I would just like literally have like my own like tornado mosh pit in my room like by myself because like seeing that show is just so fucking amp. This is also the set where like honorable mention, my other song was like to celebrate him even more. It was going to be the drum solo from that set. But then it's like, but the track is literally like, it's 4 minutes long, but a minute and a half of it is like just the crowd cheering. So it's not that much of a long set, but a solo. But it is a solo where the machine, the contraption, the drum set goes up and then starts going upside down, and like as he's fucking going, it's just so fucking boss. It's honestly another reason why I fucking love Adidas was because of Joey and seeing the music videos and him just like double pedaling away with the fucking Adidas. The dude was a fucking master. He was, and then discovering fucking Murder Dolls and being like, wait, he's a guitarist.
I was going to say, let's talk about Murder Dolls, actually. Because I love Murder Dolls.
Yeah.
I was into them before Slipknot, actually.
Nice.
Because he did it with Trip Eason, who is problematic now, unfortunately. Yeah. And he's related to 3 of my favorite bands of all time, so that's just great. Thanks for running Dope, Murder Dolls, and Static X, asshole. Yeah. But yeah, dude, Murder Dolls is great. It's different. It's completely different than Slipknot, but still awesome.
It's so fucking awesome. Like Dead in Hollywood is literally the first song I played. Like I didn't even play a Slipknot song first. I literally just because like the words is like Dead in Hollywood, and it was literally just like transported back to our walks from Centennial Middle School to our houses in the fucking heat, but we would just literally be like friends on friends, like earbuds to earbuds, and just like listening to these songs. But yeah, discovering that it's like, oh wait, he's not the double pedal master like drummer from Slipknot. He's a fucking guitarist. Like that's amazing. Like that's when I started discovering like talent in people, in artists, and being like again like a fucking inspiration. And the reason why I'm going with this live set is because I mean, you listen to any studio version of Slipknot, and it started to distinguish like it started to pick out Joey from the Clown and Chris, because like there's like two custom percussions. But in this live version, you can definitely tell how Joey's taking over the hi-hats, hitting the snares and the toms, and it's him. Especially and then on the Drastic Wave of Such and Such and Such, when Corey is saying that, Corey just almost like changes the drum beat and does like this like snare tap, like the snare roll to go with like the words instead. Oh, it's such a good one, and it's such a dark song. It's one of my favorite fucking songs from Slipknot because it's not one of like the main ones. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Purity. From the live set, London 2002, from the Disaster Piece DVD. And it's an Iowa on the special edition. It fucking sucked, dude. Like, just I just wasn't expecting it, and it's not one of those where it's just like a tragic case on like just like a fucked up tale, a fucked up ending. It was just like he just literally just didn't wake up, like for no reason, like, or they're not releasing why more, but it was just 46
too goddamn young.
And now and then for our picks, we're probably just gonna go even younger because like I'm selfishly picking this one that probably doesn't really relate to this one, but it was more towards myself that it was too soon that I'm never gonna get my Slipknot show now ever.
Yeah, all of mine are younger than that.
Yeah. Oh no, my drastically come down as well. So Daniel, who's your first person?
So I kind of blew my load a little bit too early. So
yeah, that's right.
So you guys can skip me. Sorry.
Like a Snow by Audio Slave.
I knew this was going to happen.
I have a very widely, openly stated obsession with Audio Slave.
Go ahead.
I fucking love Audio Slave. So I recommend. I totally like this. Is a great pick. That one hurt. I'm not gonna lie. That one did hurt, especially with Chester and him coming so close together.
Yeah.
You know, like that was brutal. And his daughter being like his biggest fan, and that just was brutal to me. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I fucking love the song too. So this is a good pick. All right, Keith, hit us with your first one.
So that's actually the second Audio Slave on the playlist this time.
Yeah, nice.
So we doubled up again, and now we're doubling up a third time.
Ooh.
Because I'm doing exactly what I did last time we did this category, and I'm putting Amy Winehouse on the playlist again.
Yeah, that's
has to.
I'm putting. We already have Valerie.
Yes.
On the playlist, so I am putting. You know I'm no good.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this song. It's so fucking good. It's sexy, but it's also like it's sexy in a way that you shouldn't mess with it. You know what I mean? Like it's sexy but dangerous. And it is the theme song for Secret Diary of a Call Girl, which is a show from the BBC that was so good and was really, really underrated. And it really was served as a great start to that show because it gets you in the mood for it. And just like, it's so good. And as I said, I was trying to look for people that I don't even know how to say it. Imagine what music would be like if Amy Winehouse kept making music.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I loved it, man.
Like, singer-songwriter, jazzy style. If her and Norah Jones were pumping out music, two completely different types of jazz, I mean, yeah it would have been wonderful. So that's just the biggest missed opportunity ever.
The duo that was inevitably going to come out. The duo single, probably.
Yeah. And just, and imagine all the collabs she could have done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
With Bruno Mars. Her and Bruno would have been great together.
They would have. That would have been amazing.
Like, they could have done a whole, like, duo album. That would have been so good. But, yeah, it's a shame. And then I mentioned the podcast earlier with Mos Def and Talib Kweli. On that episode, he talks about how he knew Amy Winehouse. And the whole thing they're talking about is how do you save somebody that doesn't want to be saved?
Yeah.
And he talks about how her struggle with drugs, and he's just like, I would talk to her and, I would try to be there for her, and I don't do drugs, but she would do drugs. And instead of like shunning her, I'd just be like, hey, you can do drugs, but just so you know, I'm not going to, And he's like, but if people are determined, it's a really interesting story. So yeah, I'm no good by Amy Winehouse.
Did you ever watch the documentary that came out on theaters and stuff?
For her, no.
Oh, dude. I think it might still be on Hulu. Watch it. That thing is amazing, but so heartbreaking. You find out so much and why she descended down the road she did, and it's just ultimately so heartbreaking, but it's really good.
Yeah, definitely. She's incredible. I mean, there's not a lot you can really say about Amy Winehouse that hasn't been said.
Yeah, no, so, it hurts. This one always hurts hurts a lot to listen back to.
And I was late to the Amy Winehouse thing.
Oh yeah, you always
were you?
Yeah.
So I have a friend here, or a friend who might be listening because she listens to a lot of our episodes.
Nice. Thank you.
That Raina, by the way, is your name. Hey, Raina.
Oh hell yeah, thank you, Raina.
So she preached Amy Winehouse to me early on, and I was like, I'm good. I'm like, nah, this I only heard Rehab, of course, and I'm like, eh. And then later on, this is the same girl that has got me into every pop artist, but I rejected it, and then came back to her being like, I really like them. She's like, but why didn't you listen to me? So I like to mess with her now and be like, hey, if you're this girl Taylor Swift, she's great. She's like, fuck you. So Amy Winehouse, I'm like, I actually respect Amy Winehouse quite a bit now. She's like, she took it personally that I had to do it on my own without a recommendation. So yeah, I had to give that shout out because if she's listening, she's probably really annoyed with me right now. So.
That's right. Keith discovered her first. I'm kidding. Please keep listening to the show, please. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna like drastically bum it down now because I'm already coming up the work. So we're gonna switch some songs over here, and yeah, this one hurts me a lot because it's one of those where like, oh, I discovered this guy. Oh fuck, he's gone. Let me see how. Why? Wait, what the fuck? And yeah. Again, one of those where this man could have just like, we could have had a different face of music if this guy just hadn't died. He died at 30, but he only had one project out. And that is my man, Jeff Buckley. I live with Daniel.
I knew it. That's right.
I live with Daniel, so he knows that I played this record so goddamn much. It is my favorite record to play, like my favorite vinyl to play on my record player. It's just like, there's nothing. It's so different. It almost hurts me when I have to listen to it in the studio version and I can't play it and I just like can't click the needle down. And it just has a whole different vibe and sound, and it's just so magical. Like the dude's voice, this range, this like was borderline infinite. Yeah, this one sucks because like so the way he died was like he was in Tennessee. I want to say Memphis just off the bat, but he was definitely in Tennessee where it's like there's like a big canal, a big ass river. And he was literally just like washed away. Like he was with a roadie. So he's like, so he wasn't alone. And he was just like swimming in the fucking river. And then I guess the only case witness that we have is said roadie. And the only case that is that he was singing in the fucking river and he was moving some instruments and a chair off of the shore because a tugboat was coming by and they didn't want the waves to just like mess up the equipment. And then it goes silent. And then he's just gone, and he just stays gone until like the body is found. He either got swept away, something caught him. I don't fucking know. Like when they found him, it wasn't like he was just like messed up on drugs or like or super drunk and just like, well, that happens. Like no, like this dude was like of sound, like in his head, like there was nothing wrong with him. And Grace is just such a fucking great album because it's like discovering music. It's like yeah, you get your taste. And you know when you look out for music, you know what you want to get. With Jeff Buckley, it was almost like you just have the one album, but it's like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like it's like, all right, it's an album from the 90s. You see the cover album, and you're just gonna get like that indie vibes or like those radio hits from the 90s. And this dude just throws out different vibes, different songs, any type of range of like, yeah, there's rock, there's some grungy sides, but then Corpus Christi, something. It's literally borderline an opera song. Like you can just see, like this guy had a fucking range, and then Eternal Life is just him going hard as fuck. And he was a great guitarist. Like when I play more music back then, and I was like, oh, maybe I can learn this. The dude had complicated godlike talent and chords. Like it's probably also a reason why it's like my hot take. But he does the best cover of Hallelujah, and and also because his voice and his guitar playing on top of it, and the fact that he can belt that voice and still pick at those strings,
yeah,
that's some fucking talent right there. Yeah, I'm always so sad thinking back on this guy because yeah, it could have been a different face of music. Just his collaborations, his other albums that could have been. He was literally working on the second one when, like, in the process of him dying. So there's only like kind of like demos of like new songs of like that second album. But yeah, this one fucking sucks. Like, it's just like one of those like lost voices of a generation, really, because it's like it was just so powerful. So the one I'm gonna go with is the song Grace, but again, it's gonna be a live version in particular. And this is from the Grace EP live, and this is live at the Palais Theatre in Melbourne, Australia, from February 1996. So it's probably one of the last times he ever actually played this song, or at least that it was actually recorded, because he died in 97 at the age of 30. But yeah, so it's Grace live at the Palais Theatre from the Grace EP, and yeah, I fucking hate that we can't get more of him ever, but he's just singing away at the heavens and just bopping it up over there.
And you were right, he did pass away in Memphis.
Memphis, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted like a basic bit to just see like, hey, it's Tennessee, so Memphis off the bat. All right, so Daniel, who's your second broken heart?
My second one is it's going to be Chester Bennington.
Ooh.
That I didn't like the direction that Linkin Park was going after Minutes of Midnight, but that man was talented. He could sing like an angel, plus also deliver the heavy shouts that we needed in a new metal band. Definitely, and just the way, because those who know me, I do have anxiety and I do have depression as well. So those who know me know what it is, and he was just a open beacon, open voice, to that, and always supported those rights. But and he always, said like, I'm the type of guy that can never really be fixed. I can, nobody's going to know what's going on with me. Nobody knows what's causing my depression or my anxiety. And sometimes it just overwhelms you. Like, you don't want to get in here, because once you get inside my head, it's just going to be a dark, dark place. And it just goes to show, no matter how much money you have, how many resources you have, sometimes it does get to you and gets to the point that, you end up taking your life, and that hurts the closest ones to you and also your biggest fans as well. The song I'm going to go with is going to be, there should be a different song, but I'm going to go with One Step Closer Live, the one from the Live in Texas album, just because he goes so heavy with those shouts. So definitely that's the song I'm going to go with.
Dude, Live in Texas is hard as fuck. I fucking love that album.
It's a solid album.
Or it's just a great performance like throughout it. So yeah, it's a good one.
Got the opportunity to see him 3 times, and Snoop Dogg was actually Machine Gun Kelly and Snoop Dogg were gonna open for Linkin Park at that show.
That's actually really, I mean, for Slipknot, for Snoop Dogg to open for Linkin Park, that's actually a pretty cool headline.
Yeah.
But I actually used to have the EP, the Hybrid Theory EP, when they were still known as Hybrid Theory.
Oh, no shit.
Nice.
I used to have that, and that was the first I had ever heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
As I got it at Ozfest the year I went.
Oh, okay.
And it come out like 2 months before then. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just the thing is, like, friends, like, just like the connection that music can give you, because I had my first best friend in San Luis, Arizona. His name is Ramon, and I literally would love to go over to his house because like he had like the different video games that I didn't. But he had literally Hybrid Theory, so I was like just to jam out like when I didn't have my own CD. But yeah, Chester Bennington was another one that hurt, even though it was almost like not that long ago, but it just feels so long ago too. Yeah, that was a surprise because like I hadn't listened to really Linkin Park at all, and that's just like the sporadic songs from Minutes to Midnight and then before. But I did like Hunting Party when they actually kind of went back to like their roots a little bit. Hunting Party was all right. Yeah,
a few songs. Yeah,
but Chester was one of those like fuck. Did not see that coming, but it's like you think it was just like, well, he's like at least he's letting it go in the songs. That you get like those heavy tracks. You don't listen to Giving Up like the same way anymore,
right? Like One More Lie, and then the song that he had
with you. Dude, with you from like the bridge the bridge that he gets like in the song, it's like that shit is just like it's said differently now. It's like
But yeah, I'm a really big fan of Breaking the Habit. I know that's a really polarizing song for Linkin Park fans, but I feel like that was like one of his most emotional songs. I really enjoyed that. So
And-
that's the one I always think of when I think of Linkin Park now.
Yeah, and then the song that I think is Heavy, the one that he has with Kiara, and then like I said, Giving Light, that those are like the suicide awareness ones too, and it's just song about it, but ultimately this is what happened. Or One More Light, I'm sorry, and this is ultimately, what we got, what happened.
Damn, yeah. It's so hard to just move on to the next one without just having like one last word again. But Keith, what is your second pick?
This next pick is for me, but just as much for me as for our friend T-Dog, who is not here to make this choice for himself. My song is an NWA song on behalf of Eazy-E.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to choose Fuck the Police.
Yes.
Miss you, T-Dog.
Miss you, T-Dog.
With a little analysis, and again, I'm going for Game Changers. Man, how much more like thug rap would have survived if Eazy had stuck around? Like he was the godfather of gangster rap. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so, like, would we think about the late '90s and early 2000s, and it got kind of cheesy with rap.
It got very radio for the radio. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, imagine would we have stayed a little darker? Would he? I mean, didn't he? I think he was the producer of Bone Thugs and Harmony and stuff. Who else would he have produced? Like
who would have he discovered instead of like others, or just other names are just having just that flew by because he wasn't there? Oh, totally. Yeah. I totally get that.
So yeah, that's an easy one. Obviously, Eazy Fuck the Police with NWA. So.
Okay, I'm gonna try and do this next part without crying because it fucking sucks. I was talking earlier about losing a voice of a generation, and yeah, Selena.
Knew it. I fucking knew it. I was waiting for it.
Had to be. That's why I didn't want to put it right next to Amy Winehouse because I was already feeling the emotional part of that topic. So I was like, let me just swap these really quick.
Let me real quick before you start.
Yeah.
Let me give you privy to a conversation I had today. I was asking Liz to help me make these final decisions. She's like, well, Selena died young. And I said, do you think I'm the one on this podcast that should add Selena to the playlist? She's like, what if no one else does? I'm like, Liz, someone's going to say Selena. So, yeah.
Yeah. At age 23, that's literally just thinking about that alone is what already gets me fucking riled up, and I can't even go after that. I'm already feeling the knot tightening around my fucking throat. But yeah, how can you just square down and just pick one song for this category from Selena? So I'm thinking of a what if scenario, of a what if future where she was around, and how fun, how amazing it would have been to just go to one of her shows, to just experience, not just seeing Selena y Los Dinos just on stage on live, but to just dance, to just feel the music, be part of the people, just be one with everything that's just being enveloped in those moments. Cumbia is just the Latino south of the border version of disco. So if you see where I'm going with this, yeah, I'm gonna go with one of their most funnest songs, and that's the opening track to the Last Concert album, and that's the disco medley, because I fucking start crying in the happiest of ways for the song, where I'd probably be a fucking mess. If she was still around and they just fucking threw out a disco medley in my face, and it's I'd be fucking crying because I'm dancing for the happiest moments, and just because I'm experiencing all of this. And the way she just does this it's literally 7 minutes long, because as for a disco medley to open up with I Will Survive, into Funky Town, and it's just a fucking bop, into oh my god, then she goes into Last Dance by Donna Summer. She gets, and this is where it fucking gets serious, because I Will Survive in Fucking Town, we all know these ones, let's just get funky with it. But then it gets serious with fucking Last Dance, and then it does a perfect transition into The Hustle, which is for sure, why not, let's go back to some silly stuff. But then again, she doubles down with Donna Summer and and pulls out on the radio, and it's just so fucking magical. I mean, to just get this, to just dance disco to a cumbia beat to fucking Selena y Los Dinos, I fucking can't. It's too goddamn much, and it's just Sorry, I'm already slapping everything down because I'm already just. I miss her so much. Like, this is a true like lost voice of a generation. Like, imagine this basic music being around. Those collaborations, like with like, yeah, we got Shakira, but like, what if any of those missing songs, or like the songs that didn't make it? If she was around, she would just completely swept it up and just made the fucking music better than what we have now. It's great, but just, everything could have been so much better.
Once again, imagine the collabs.
Yeah,
like,
everything.
Imagine all the modern rappers that would be doing a duet with Selena.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
a lot of bops.
And yeah, it's such a. You get angry, you get so sad, but ultimately you just you're there for Selena, listening to it. So just keep the songs playing, just keep them rolling. It's just she'll be there for you. Okay, that was really, really hard for me. So Daniel, take it away.
Yeah. Next one is going to be, and I feel like I'm going just so basic with these, but Kurt Cobain. Honestly.
Ooh.
Yeah, of course.
The song I'm picking is "The Man Who Sold the World." I prefer this one over the David Bowie version, in my opinion, and it has to be the unplugged version as well.
Apparently, that's a hot take. I think that's just truth. Like, a lot of people prefer the Bowie version. I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's so weird. I've listened to both, and I just can't compare them. Yeah. But at this point, I do feel that even then, if Kurt was still alive to this day, Dave would have disbanded from the band. But everybody, even Pat Smear probably would have. Chris might have stuck around, but I know definitely Pat Smear would have left the group as well. Probably to, gone to Foo Fighters. I have a feeling that
to sit on his ass, probably
sit on his ass, but I feel like he would definitely still find replacements because in the world of music, it's fucked up to say, but everybody pretty much is replaceable. If you can play, guitar, you can play drums. Everybody pretty much is replaceable. It happens all the goddamn time. Might not be as good as the originals, but anybody can really replace what you're playing. But even if Kurt was, sitting on his ass,
that was for Pat. That was for Pat.
Okay,
not Kurt.
Oh, sorry.
He's a Pat hater. I like Pat, for the record.
I do too, actually.
But you brought him up, so I should point out that Chris Novoselic would not be in Nirvana anymore because Kurt Cobain would kick his ass out.
Oh yeah,
after his most recent statements.
Oh, he got all political and shit for a while.
Oh, that's true.
Like, Chris was a total sellout.
Yeah,
yeah. Fuck you, dude. But anyways, yeah, go on.
But definitely, I still feel like he would do the right thing and support, Foo Fighters and that sort of thing. But definitely, still feel he would have some sort of angsty. I don't know. His voice is kind of whiny, but I like the whiny. It works for him. I think he'd still be creating kind of music, and I really do miss his music, even though probably because he's out there whenever he would talk about his music or like his take on music and how the songwriting came. So I think, he is a great one that we lost a little bit too soon as well. Part of 27 Club.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And it's just like, he had just such a simple way of playing.
Yeah.
Like his chord progressions, but it was ultimately like what he had to say. That was like why he was just that he would resonate with people. Like Kurt for sure, like is one that hurts. It's just like, yeah, you want to call it a basic pig, but no, it's like it's there for a fucking reason.
I think he's a good lyricist, or I guess songwriter, you could say, but definitely his music was kind of sloppy, and you can say it like he was really easy with his chords, and like you mentioned, but definitely that one did hurt, even though I was 3 years old when it happened, but ultimately growing up and listening to Nirvana, I was like, this is the greatest shit ever.
Yeah, the music always stayed. All right. And Keith, you're number 3.
My number 3. Okay, so we're going to talk about an artist. This is going to be one of those, oh yeah, artists. An artist that I think was underrated in her time and is almost forgotten now, unfortunately, but could have changed the entire landscape of R&B had she lived long enough. Dying at the tender age of 22, my third choice is Aaliyah.
Oh yeah, Absolutely.
That's a really good one.
Too.
She's an incredible artist. Her first album, which is incredible, by the way, was recorded when she was 15 years old. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's one of the best soulful albums. Like, I love that album. It's so good. And Jesus, she just oozed talent. And then she started acting and doing a decent job at it, you know? Like, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this girl can do anything. And then
Queen of the Damned, yo.
yeah, I love Queen of the Damned. And then her plane went down and she died. And Josue knows, because we have a history with this, I have a major weakness for hip-hop and R&B female artists from the 90s and early 2000s. That's one of my favorite genres. And Aaliyah's up there with any of them.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the R&B side of it, obviously, if we're talking about rap, Missy kills everybody. but yeah, dude, Aaliyah, Jesus, imagine. Just imagine.
That would have been great. Have her in this day.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick the song Down with the Click. Because I didn't want it to be another sad, slow song.
Yeah.
I wanted to be kind of a more upbeat song, because we're getting kind of dreary. So I went Down with the Click. It's a fun song. It's upbeat, and it's just great. But listen to the whole album. It's great. The album, unfortunately, is named Age is Just a Number.
Yeah.
And at the time, she was very young, dating a man she shouldn't have been dating.
Yep.
That's all unfortunate. The song Age is Just a Number is really good, but I didn't want to pick it because of that ickiness. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Down with the Click.
Cool. All right. Bonus round, because we don't have an extra person, we got an extra song. And because of this, it totally ruined my theme on just picking live songs. So my fourth song is not going to be a live song because I chose it last minute. But nonetheless, it's actually a really dope song, or from a dope band. This is actually technically a Sochi pick. She was actually bumping them, and she's like, "Yo, why not these guys?" This band is called Parálisis Permanente. It's a Spanish band, a Spanish post-punk band from the 80s, and these guys are noted to being the precursors of the dark sound to La Movida Madrileña, and that's basically a movement that happened in Spain, Madrid. That was basically like a musical revolution, or a whole like a countercultural revolution that kind of happened after Franco died. So a lot of changes had to happen with that happening. So there's this band called Parálisis Permanente, and in this band, sadly, basically like they got the leader of the band, Eduardo Benavente. He was the guitarist to it. He died at fucking age 20. Literally on a random night. It was just it was a car accident involved. Like he and I think two of the other band members just got in a car and just ended up getting in a car crash. Just pretty much like outside Zaragoza, and he was the only one that died from the band. But it's just like, but it has that sweet like. Once you start listening to this band, you know that 80s fucking post-punk sound, and that you're just down with, and just like it's one of those bands that are just like it just really hits, because you don't get a lot of like, I mean, like the whole like rock en español that I absolutely love. It's just really that. It's just rock or hard rock or pretty much like kind of radio friendly type of rock. These guys, if these guys would have stayed around like this, there's really no sound like this unless you kind of go outside of like the norm of like the mainstream that is like Latin music. And it's kind of like one of the things I don't like about Latin culture music is just like, if it's not mainstream, that's ultimately shit. It's kind of how it's looked at. But these guys, if they would have stayed around, because so when Eduardo died, the band just disbanded. It was just that. It's like without this guy, we really can't continue.
Then that means he was a talent.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure it fucking hurt. It's also like the 80s when it's just like I'm pretty sure it was in Spain to find another voice like this, or just like someone. I'm pretty sure someone they found irreplaceable. And so yeah, they were only able to put out 2 albums. I mean, I guess one album, and the next 3 are compilation albums of like maybe what ifs. So yeah, if these guys would have stuck around, it would have given a great sound, or at least like made punk a little more normal in Latin music, because it's kind of really more like frowned upon, or it's just more like esos son para ellos. And it's kind of like, there's good music there too if you actually listen to it, and it doesn't all have to be just Latin pop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Parálisis Permanente is the name of the band, and the song I'm going with is Autosuficiencia. And yeah, it just has that post-punk classic sound, and again, once you listen to it, you'd be like, yo, I need more of this. And sadly, you're only gonna get a limited amount of this, because why so soon? Yeah, gone too soon. So yeah, that's my last round. Yeah, I'll come back to my honorable mentions, because I do have this one guy still have to talk about as well. So, Daniel, what is your last pick?
Last one, and again, going basic, but Bradley Nowell from Sublime.
He was on my list, on my extended list, yeah.
And definitely, the song is Badfish, and the whole song about Badfish is, someone introducing you to heroin, which was what led to his, untimely death. So,
yeah,
definitely would still be grooving, would be smoking a lot of weed on stage if, he was still alive. Probably really great performances, and don't get me wrong, Rome is a talented singer as well, but it's not the same thing. It's not Bradley.
It's not.
I've seen their live videos, and they're great, but definitely, without Bradley, it's a whole different vibe. But definitely, yeah, Badfish and Bradley has to be my pick, especially with all the goddamn different not genres, but all the different songs and themes they have in their songs. It was amazing.
Yeah, I fucking love Seed. Seed is just it goes so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Badfish, Sublime. All right, dope. Keith, how are you going to close off the page this time?
I'm going to close off the page in the most depressing way possible.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh, God. I'm going to cry.
So, no celebrity death has ever hit me as hard as this death.
Mm-hmm.
I actually cried when this happened, because I was looking forward to so much from this person.
Yeah.
And you'll see this person is not, by reputation, a musician.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what's coming.
Yeah.
But they are a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And that man's name was Anton Yelchin.
Yep.
I remember getting so upset, because I was like, he's like one of the best actors in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Like, he's going to make so much great movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just the way he died.
A freak
was
accident.
Just so bullshit. It was just, you were almost like, no, that's not right. Is this a fucking Onion article or something? Like, you're like, that didn't happen. But he died. And then, so Rudderless is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love Rudderless, and I was really, really tempted to pick a song off of Rudderless. But I didn't. There was a biography about him after he died.
Oh, Love on Tosha?
Yes. And I'm picking a song from that soundtrack. You ready to get your heart broken for real? I picked the song, Mama, I'll Sing the Blues for You. Fuck. I can't even listen to this song. Like, it just brings me down. And just, Jesus. I kind of touched on it a little bit with Aaliyah, but a true double threat. He could have been a musician. That could have been his career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to be an actor as well.
Well, he's a born photographer, too. Like, a fucking good one, too.
Yeah.
Had a great eye.
I just think about, like, all the things he could have done. He could have, stepped into a major, reoccurring role in movies. Like, like a Robert Downey Jr. type character. He could be around forever. He could play things forever.
Yeah.
And just a stupid freak accident. And all of that just erased. And I'm also a big Star Trek fan.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
And he was like, I've loved Star Trek forever. But when they did that reboot, I was like, he's fucking perfect. Like, I was like, I loved him in that. And then when he died, I was like, oh, man. And then there's this whole thing like, should we recast? Probably not. Is anyone going to do as good of a job as him? No.
Yeah.
So they're going to write the character out, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like, man.
I'm surprised that Dodge Jeep is still around for that. Just throwing it out there.
Just completely discontinue that whole fucking thing. So
I loved his whole thing that he was basically copying his grandpa, like doing English is how he got his accent for Star Trek. It just breaks my heart, dude. Yeah.
And just he's He was the best.
He was.
I never watched anything of his I didn't like.
Yeah, Charlie Bartlett, like fucking A. Like,
Green Room, intense as fuck.
That last movie he made with the two girls who wanted to kill one of their stepdads, and he was like the
there was a
stoner friend.
vampire one too. It's on Amazon that I've been meaning to watch. It's probably one of his last ones because it was from 2014. It has Tilda Swinton in it and Tom Hiddleston.
Okay.
And then also Liz put me onto this because she knows how to make me watch things. The show Troll Hunters, the one that Guillermo del Toro made, he voiced the lead in it. And she's like, I'm going to watch Troll Hunters. I'm like, fucking why? It's a DreamWorks show. She's like, well, Anton Yelchin does the main character. I'm like, God damn it. And so I watched up until the point where his voice changed because Anton died.
Oh.
So, yeah, man, that was brutal. And especially because if you watch Rudderless, with actors, you can't help but attach characters to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good movie in character to attach to somebody that you lose at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I get you.
So it was just brutal. But yeah, Anton Yelchin, Mama, I'll sing the blues for you. Fuck, that song breaks me every time. So.
Yeah. Fuck. Did you have any honorable mentions, by the way?
Fucking shit. So Daniel actually mentioned a lot of mine. Which,
Sorry,
Chris Cornell. No, it's good. Chris Cornell was one. And I was kind of like, this sounds horrible. I was like, was it too soon? Like it's always too soon, but you know what I mean? Like I was just kind of like, he gave us a lot. Am I selfish to ask for more? You know what I mean? I also thought of Kurt. But I already had Amy Winehouse from the 27 Club, and I didn't want this to be 27 Club people.
Right.
So why I made that decision.
Yeah.
Similar reasons why I didn't pick Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin.
Mm-hmm.
I was very tempted to do those. Tupac came up. But I'm not the biggest Tupac fan, to be honest. And then I always thought Biggie was better, which I guess Biggie would have counted too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Day the Music Died trio, Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, all died young. Fucking my last cut was Sid Vicious from the Sex Pistols.
Oh no shit, yeah.
Yeah, so that was yeah. And most of the others I thought you guys would say. The one I didn't pick that I assumed somebody would say was Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so. But that's my honorable mentions. No specific ones, but just general thoughts.
Going backwards, Daniel, do you have any honorable mentions? People didn't make the cut.
Yeah. So Scott Patesky, Daisy Berkowitz from Marilyn Manson. Because he had to put a lot of shit with Marilyn Manson, a lot of feuds. Also, Eddie Van Halen, but only because what Wolfgang Van Halen, like the tribute song that he wrote for his dad, is fucking amazing but heartbreaking. And then also Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, funny thing about that, with Scott Weiland, me and my friends we were big grunge fans. We were right age for it. And so you got like all the big grunge bands, right? And I include Stone Temple Pilots there on kind of the periphery of grunge. But could you imagine if you told me in 94 that the last surviving lead singer of the grunge bands would be fucking dude from Pearl Jam? Like, of all the bands, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, so yeah, I just think that's funny. So I always think of that. But yeah. And I did have another album mention I wanted to forgot. It felt like a cheat to say it. Mm-hmm. But Hillel Slovak from the original guitarist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I thought about that. The problem is the album they put out with him, I don't really like that much.
Yeah.
But he's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
So, and John Frusciante is really great, so I don't know how much would have changed. It sounds horrible, but, so, yeah. True. So that was my last one, yeah.
Nice. My two honorable mentions going from oldest to youngest, and also just didn't make the cut because it was that, like, they were a little older. I was like, my oldest one was like George Jordison at 46, but these guys, it's more like there wasn't enough like body of work, and that's Brian St. Pierre, and that's the drummer for Hum, a band that I constantly talk about, and I really hyped them up recently last year because they came up with Inlet, and they basically took a 20-year hiatus. So it was mostly like on the band for having the hiatus and having that 20-year gap. But like, you listen to those first 3 albums, the first 4 albums technically, we just can't really find that first one. It's hard to find too. But 2, 3, and 4 are just fucking incredible fucking albums. Like, they're from the 90s, so you want to just chalk them up to like on the grunge wall, but they are fucking not. They're just such a great goddamn band. And to just have that hiatus just probably because the grunge scene died, and that's kind of what people thought of them, and they weren't probably going to make it after that, at least like not like for them to really stick around. So yeah, it wasn't until 2020 and they came back out with Inlet, and it was just, again, so fucking good, where it was just like picking up where they left off. And I mean, it's not that they stopped playing music either. It was really cool. You find some articles where they'd actually play some dive bars or some shows at local places, like 3 out of the 4 members, but you can only imagine that obviously the drummer had to be involved for these shows. So at least like, I mean, like within that 20-year gap, at least like a good amount of people still got to see them and appreciate them. So that's when they didn't make the cut. Also, I really couldn't single out one fucking song to really pick. And then the other one is shit. I needed my boy Crows in here for this one as well. He probably would have picked them. I picked him, but Chi Chang from Deftones, the original bassist. Yeah, like him, like having going into like games in an automobile crash, and then being in a coma for a while, and going to cardiac arrest and just didn't make it out. It just really sucked. And that one, he did have 6 albums under Deftones, so it's kind of like, well, he did have a body of work. Wasn't too soon. It just sucks that he did. But it was just like, we'll never get Arrows. We'll never get like that project that was supposed to be before Diamond Eyes. And even then, Diamond Eyes is really fucking good. What that would have sounded like with Cheese bass playing, or even Koino Yokin, fucking Gore probably would have been so much better, because the guitarist would have been, you know what, like the whole band is here. I'll only chalk up Gore for not being that good because the guitarist wasn't that really into it. So that's why. But then what the fuck Arrows would have been after that? And yeah, it just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, I just want to listen to Arrows so fucking bad, but I get that it's not mastered, it's not finished, so it would just be not that good. Yeah. So yeah, so that's why he didn't make the cut. He still had 6 albums under him, and also it wouldn't be fair since my favorite Deftones album is his last one, Saturday Night Wrist. It's just such a great fucking chill album, and for being Deftones. So yeah, those are my 2 honorable mentions. Yeah,
I actually had another one, and I can't believe I completely blanked on this.
Hit me,
because it almost made my list. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Lynn Strait from Snot, the punk band Snot.
Yeah.
He was the lead singer. He died at 30 in a car wreck. They really only had the 1 album with him, and he was great. If you're into the like SoCal punk scene, he was just so good. And I remember, because it was when I went to Ozfest, is when they released the tribute album for him called Straight Up. And I don't know if you've ever listened to this. If you haven't, check it out. You would fucking love it. It's got Korn, Slipknot, Seven Dust, Cold Chamber, System of a Down, Soulfly, like all kinds of people on it doing tributes to him. And the Seven Dust song Angel's Son is about him, by the way.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, that was one of those ones that, like, we have no idea what would happen if he'd have been around. You know what I mean? Like, it was so early, but then that many people being like into him at that young age and willing to do a tribute is a pretty big test. Ozzy's on that fucking record. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. So, but yeah, I had to throw that one out there before I forget.
Yeah, I guess. Go for it. Hit me then. You go for it.
Peter Steele from Typo Negative.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
That's totally. Yeah, fucking awesome.
I guess, and also my last one, Darby Crash. Since we brought up Pat Smear, we can't just bring up Pat Smear and not talk about Darby Crash from the Germs. Even though the dude was just crazy, he was like really in the punk lifestyle scene. So ultimately, that's what doomed him. And it's just like, just keep your friends close and just talk to each other. And just probably help each other out. But Darby Crash is one of those where he was already changing the fucking punk scene just for his antics. And then just like the songs alone, or what songs could have came out after that, were just how fucking big the Germs would have gotten had just all that fame not rushed his head like so soon. But yeah, just all these incredible people that would have changed the face of music that we have today. All these influences that would have just branched out even further had we gotten like all these missing songs that we just don't know. So it sucks that we have to end this particular theme and episode on such a bummer note. But yeah, that's why we do this, so we can just talk about all the music that we love and why we love them. So yeah, those are the closing thoughts on this one. We get to move on and talk about new releases. So Keith, what do you see on your end?
I see some fun stuff. We have a new Nas album.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah, King's Disease 2. So I'm definitely checking that out.
Keep going.
We also have, and I'm not joking, a Barbra Streisand album.
Oh my god, I just saw that.
And you know what?
What?
I'm gonna listen to it. Fuck it, let's do it. You know, like we're also getting the 50th anniversary of George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, which is an incredible album.
Ooh, yeah.
So, and one of my favorite things on the list this week is we're getting Kids Bop super hits.
Oh my god, no.
No.
Featuring such songs as Shout Out to My Ex, Ciao Adios, Make Some Noise,
No.
and Dancing on My Own. I really want to listen to this. Kids Bop makes me laugh so hard. How they sanitize music, it's fucking great.
How they sanitize.
it's just so unlistenable when they're done with it. Other than that, I don't see a lot this week.
Yeah, I'm literally just drawing up one thing, and thank God it's the thing I've actually been excited for, but it's the re-release of the Nightwish album Once.
Oh, yeah.
With a new band, like the new singer.
Yeah.
And of course it's Nightwish, so it's literally almost a double album because it's an instrumental remastered of it's a whole second side of it. It's not even like the same album. Or is it? Oh, it is. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, you get the instrumental and the original just redone with the new, as the new set. Fuck yeah. Well, that's what I'm listening to because it's literally 2 fucking hours long. And I don't see anything else that I'm actually really into that's coming out.
Now, next week.
Ooh, okay.
We are getting a new Killers album.
Oh, and another one?
Called Pressure Machine.
Okay.
Okay.
And this looks like it's taking me back to Day and Age. That's what I'm getting the feel for. So
I'll fucking take it. Hell yeah.
And then what else is that week? It looks like it's a bigger week next week. Black Bear, which I don't like, but some people do. Apparently Iggy Azalea is still making music.
Yeah,
Is she?
Yeah.
Sepultura.
Yeah, they had that single out last time.
So that's what, yeah. Sheryl Crow. I'm always down for a Sheryl Crow. Oh, it's a live album even. Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Live album. That's cool. Ben Platt. Jennifer Hudson. Oh, that's the Respect soundtrack, the Aretha Franklin soundtrack.
Ooh, okay.
So it's going to be her doing Aretha songs. That's going to be good. I think that's all I see for next week.
I just pulled up the Nas album. Oh, yeah, so 2 things I'll be listening to then from this new one.
Yeah. The Killers I'm very excited about, so.
Oh, yeah, but that's until like next week.
Yeah, that's next week, so. Yeah, that's all I really see.
Okay, yeah. My side too. So, we move on. I bring up this. And, oh yeah. So, what is going to be the next episode, Keith?
Our next randomly determined episode is making history.
Oh.
Because we are going back to the very first episode of this show we've ever recorded.
Ooh.
It was the first category we ever did. It's the only one we did not randomly determine.
Right.
We just said, let's start with this category.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to go back. That category is 90s hip-hop.
90s hip-hop.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun one. Yeah, because and even then back then, we only picked 2 songs each. So,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now it's a more structured show. We have more stuff more fun to play with. Yeah, I'm very excited to come back to this. This first category that we ever did as well. President has to be here for this one. So many stuff has to happen for this one. This is special.
It was also the first time we got the true Vertigo, because I remember T-Dog went right before me and put some like hardcore gangster rap on, and then I put Belle Biv DeVoe immediately afterwards.
Yes.
So I was like,
That is so true. Even then, the essence was still there. That Vertigo was still there. So that concludes this episode of Jukebox Vertigo. Thank you to the host for your great picks. Daniel, any shout out, inserts, plugs? Go for it.
Yeah, so definitely you can find me on Twitter at SuperCommyDaniel. Talked to Keith before the show about reviving an old show, so I'm very excited about that. So Televised Heroics will be coming back, and as always, thank you so much for having me on here. I love it.
Oh, bro, anytime. Be here every fucking time. And Keith, your plugs, shout outs. Go for it.
You can find me on Twitter at WHI Podcast Keith, which stands for We Have Issues, our other show that's about comic books that we record immediately after this one. And you can find the show itself on Twitter at WHI Podcast. And you can find our producer Liz at WHI Podcast Liz as well.
Excellent. And thank you to listeners for your continued support and on this musical sharing ride. Follow this show at Jukebox Vertigo on Twitter, as well as at Geekily Media for all geek shows adjacent, and where a public playlist, at least for the Jukebox Vertigo part, where a public playlist will be updated and shared weekly, as well as a short playlist to go with every new episode with our picks. Now let loose with your jams and geek out.
This concludes our broadcast.